In today's video, we're going to talk about the best way to lose 5 pounds of body fat.
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com, and it's Friday morning, and it's a bit of a strange Friday morning because we have a big hurricane bearing down on us, but you wouldn't know it by looking at the weather here in Tampa, Florida. It's really quite a nice day. It's really a weird feeling knowing there's this monster storm out there about to come, but it makes me really appreciate the amount of knowledge and up-to-date current event stuff we have. I can't even imagine like what 50 years ago, even before the internet and before current weather technology and all that stuff, I'm sure storms were much more devastating because people were just not prepared, because it's a completely normal day, and in like 48 hours there's supposed to be like the potential for 100-mile-an-hour winds here. And for those that are concerned about me and my family, I really appreciate it. We're in a really good situation. As I've mentioned, I have a generator on my house. The house I purchased wasn't my doing, and I thought it was rather big and silly when we purchased the house, but it's looking like a good idea now. So we filled up the propane tank, so we'll have plenty of days of power. I've been cleaning up the yard. I'm actually going to start knocking on the neighbors' houses and seeing if they need anything picked up in the yard that might be, blown around by the wind. So overall, we're going to be good here. We're going to do the best. We're taking all the precautions necessary. As a resident Floridian, been through a lot of these hurricanes in my life, and it's always a really strange feeling to know something's coming like that. But today's video topic is the best way to lose 5 pounds of body fat, and it's a rather specific topic. And I'll be honest, it's kind of a topic that I'm doing because I feel like it's a searchable one, and I'm trying to get some good information out there. Because for those of my regular listeners and followers, they probably know that where this is going, but you might be a little bit surprised on like the thoughts rattling around in my head. For those that don't know, I coach a lot of people that compete, that make lifestyle transformations. I've helped people lose over 100 pounds of body fat, and I've also helped people, win world titles as natural bodybuilders and earn IFBB Pro cards. So I've kind of run the full gamut of coaching, and I love it all. The only thing I ask of my clients is that they have a clear defined goal and they're going to put in the work. And so I'm always looking for someone that fits that. So today's video topic is specifically about the idea of losing 5 pounds of body fat and the best way to do that, because there's so much information out there. And the first thing that comes to mind when I think about misinformation about how to lose body fat is that you're simply one tweak away. You're living your life and you see an ad on TV. Got some macaws over here. You see an ad on TV for, don't change your lifestyle. You just need to do this one thing. You just need to cut out ketchup. You just need to stop drinking soda. One thing that's going to make body fat just fall off your body. And that's not the case, right? So what I really want to iterate with this is you don't have to make a whole life change to lose 5 pounds of body fat. But what you do have to do is make a change, okay? There needs to be something different happening. In my experience, the most common thing that's happening to people whenever I sit down and have a discussion with someone that doesn't really know me or know what I do, but they kind of see how I look, or they just want to say, hey man, I tend to get that question a lot. Hey man, you look great. How can I lose a couple pounds? Or what do you do? The most common feedback I get from that type of person is that they're very sedentary. So when I talked to a guy the other day, and he said, I want to get in a little better shape. What can I do? I said, well, tell me about your day. What do you do? Well, I get up, I go to work. And he was a tow truck driver, so he drives his tow truck all day. All right, what do you do when you get home? When I get home, I'm pretty exhausted from driving the truck around all day. And then my little girl comes home, and then, she plays with me for a little bit. I watch TV on the couch, and I go to bed. And I said, so your entire day is pretty much sitting. And I said, well, tell me about your diet. Well, I got to eat on the run. This is pretty typical, and I'm not judging. This is real life, people. This is what life is like. I eat on the run. I got to stop at a drive-thru because I'm on my way to a job, and then when I get home, I'm too tired to cook, and my wife's been working all day, so we'll just grab some pizza or drive through McDonald's on the way home, and this is how it goes. And so as you do this for years, it's never really one moment. You don't put on 30 pounds of body fat in a day. You put it on over months and years of living this lifestyle. And so what I asked this gentleman to do was get in touch with me, and I just wanted him to do one thing for the time being, to start changing his lifestyle a little bit. And that was, when you got home, instead of doing nothing or staying in the house with your daughter, get your bikes out, go for a walk, find a park, and go do 30 minutes of activity. That's it. These little subtle shifts will start to change your outlook. I also said, take a look at where you're having some empty calories. I know a lot of people think it's silly when you go to McDonald's and you get a Diet Coke because, the joke is, yeah, you're eating McDonald's. But in reality, that's several hundred calories of soda that you're drinking versus a 0-calorie option. So I start to look at things that are kind of low impact to a person's life that they can do. I don't expect everyone to go, that's it, I'm gonna be a bodybuilder, I'm eating chicken and broccoli, I'm going to the gym 5 days a week. That's not always realistic for everybody, and not everyone's passionate about that, and I get that. That's not really what you need to do. What you need to do is kind of examine your life as a whole. Think back to when you were in a little bit better shape and what your day was like. For most of us when we were young, you couldn't keep us in the house. We were outside running around, we were at school, we were doing this, we were doing that. Now, as adults, as our lives change, as our responsibilities pile up, as work, as children, as everything that we're managing in our lives stacks up, the priority changes, so that playtime disappears. Well, when playtime disappears, we become a little bit more sedentary. So for this video, the best way to lose 5 pounds of body fat, I only want someone to lose about 1 pound a week. That's it. I don't want these drastic changes. I don't want you losing 5 pounds in a week, because that's not real fat loss, okay? That's going to be mostly like a water weight, or if you're doing a cleanse, or if you're doing some nonsense. Those type of drastic things, they're not sustainable. What I would rather see is something that's sustainable. And although it's not sexy to lose 1 pound in a week, if you lose 1 pound a week for 5 weeks and you're down 5 pounds on the scale, you're gonna notice it. And the actions you took to get there are going to be something that you can keep up with because you've changed your lifestyle. Fat loss isn't changing one thing. It's about changing many things as you can to get the job done, right? About changing your lifestyle for the most part. So, I know when I say go for a walk, that sounds like I'm saying one thing, but what you're actually doing is you're changing your priorities. You're changing your coming home and sitting on the couch because you're tired, and you're getting outside and you're moving. And that's going to give you more energy so that you're actually able to do more next time you do it. When you start to look at things like that, you start to realize, I can fit some stuff in. For some people, it might mean getting up super early in the morning before you go to work and walking around your neighborhood. That's it. That doesn't cost anything, right? If that's not a possibility, maybe you go to the gym on your way to work and bring your change of clothes with you and you shower. When we start looking for ways that we can fit stuff in, instead of saying, I don't have time, the mind shifts. Your mindset changes. Your ability to problem solve changes. It's always possible to find an excuse. There's many days where I'm like, oh, I have too much work, I don't want to go to the gym. But whenever I say that to myself, I start to think, well, if I start taking shortcuts with myself, then I am not going to be fit to provide information and coach others, because I am no longer a valuable resource. So I treat my body, my lifestyle, as a beacon for my ability to help others. So the best way to lose 5 pounds of body fat, in my opinion, is to examine everything that you're doing on a day-to-day basis. From what you're eating to what you're doing, how much movement you're doing. I currently love Fitbits and movement trackers, and some of the phones now actually have them fit in. So I started tracking my steps per day and realizing my steps were quite low because I was becoming sedentary. As someone that works from home, I would get up, come to the office and work, answer some emails, go back, eat, come back and work, go to the gym. Now, as a bodybuilder, I'm not in the gym for more than an hour, hour and a half usually, and doing no cardio. So, I'm lifting weights for a few minutes and then resting. So I was even finding that I was a little bit sedentary, and I was dropping weight when I would travel, because when you travel, you tend to do a lot more walking and exploring and, things like that, where walking burns a ton of calories. It's such an underrated form of calorie burning because it's not considered really exercise. But if you can just get out and walk, one thing that Lauren and I noticed in populations in cities where the pedestrians kind of dominate, the ability for the people to stay leaner seems higher. I noticed a lot of people in California and New York, where we kind of have been, there's been a lot of success in keeping weight down in those populations. That's going to be it for me today, guys. This is Paul from ProPhysique.com. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'll get back to you. Have an awesome Friday and I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All by myself.